Hey everyone, Mark and Joey here on a Monday morning. A Monday morning means recap to us. Great weekend of sports. But we're actually going to talk about the NFL right here, which is in exhibition games. And that's not really what we're going to talk about. I think anybody who's a football fan knows what the story of the weekend was. But I first want to tell you about one of our sponsors here, coolicover.com. We've got a 35% discount now through Ultimate Sports Channel. That they're going to give to our fans. All you need to do is email ultimatesportschannel31@gmail.com and ask for the code. We'll send it to you, and you can save 35% off any glasses on the website. An amazing sponsor discount for us, and we hope you take care of that. Talk about NFL. It's going to be sunny in those stadiums for a lot of the year. 4 hours outdoors. You got baseball, same thing. So you need sunglasses. You need to participate as well as watching. So pick those up. 35% discount. Can't beat it. And Joey, this leads us into one of our sports that's going to be coming up soon. Sitting outside, the exhibition games are already happening. And but a shocker on the weekend. We got to talk about it. It means so many different things in different parts of the sport. Andrew Luck's retirement, shocking.
Yeah, so we're going to do our Indianapolis Colts version of our new NFL segment called Four Quarters. And it's going to be all about the Colts. We'll address Andrew Luck's retirement in the fourth quarter, so we'll do that one last. We're going to start off here, though, with the backup quarterback situation, then go into the division, then go into how the fans treat him, really, and then go into his retirement specifically. So the first quarter here, the backup situation. So many of you probably don't know two of the backups. You might know the one backup. He is from New England, Jacoby Brissett. And he really became popular when Tom Brady was suspended, actually. Garoppolo came in, played 2 games, then he got hurt. Brissett came in and went 1-1 with the New England Patriots, was then traded to Indianapolis, has gone 5-12 in 17 starts. Is he the guy going forward?
Well, he's not the guy. I mean, we know this. He really, which is shocking to me. Here's the mistake as far as I'm concerned. I said it in the camp. You want to go back to our Colts camp show? I said that Andrew Luck is going to be hurt at best, miss most of the season, and he decides to retire, which was impossible to call. I mean, I would have been a genius to call that one.
Yeah.
But I said that there's no way he could play many games this season. The injuries were just racking up. The body couldn't take it anymore. And that's exactly what happened. And then he decided to retire on top of that. But they didn't go and get anybody. Like, how do you have a quarterback who's so hurt all the time that you don't have a competent backup on that team? A real mess of management as far as I'm concerned. Whether he retired or went down in the first game because of injury, you need to have some backup. This guy is not the guy. We're looking at who else is available because they have to go get somebody.
Yeah, so there's 2 ways I'm looking at. One is, what do we really know about Jacoby Brissett? Truthfully, he was 1-1 in New England. That's fine. When he went to Indianapolis, they were really bad during that time. Anyways, Andrew Luck wasn't going to have any luck. That's why he was injured anyways. Yeah. The team just was not very good. So I guess my question is, what has the coach seen in practice? What has he seen in preseason? Maybe he sees what Jacoby Brissett has, because he isn't like awful. He's not off the streets. He went to college, had a good college career, drafted by the New England Patriots guys. Yeah. So is there some backing there? So I think at first he's going to give it a shot and see what Jacoby has, and obviously has seen some promise in practice, obviously maybe preseason with this team. And I've mentioned it before, when we did our divisional stuff and we did our training camp for the Colts, they have a great team. So they don't need a superstar back there. Now, the superstar of Andrew Luck back there made me think it was a guarantee that they're going to be great.
Yeah.
But they do have a good team, so I think they're going to try Jacoby, see what he might bring. We don't know enough about him yet. But, yes, I'm a fan of all these backups out there. Like Tyrod Taylor, who in my mind got Buffalo to playoffs, looked good in Cleveland if they had a kicker, could have done some damage. Going to a good team like the Colts might be able to do something there. Paxton Lynch, although he just got injured, had looked good for Seattle in preseason. Geno Smith is also over there. Now, again, another hurt guy, but can he go over there to a better team and maybe tough it out for a year? Blake Bortles, I know he has a lot of criticism, but again, Jacksonville, in my mind, was overrated for one season. He lit it up, and they got to the AFC Championship game, though, in that season. Could he go to another team who,
and
like
Bortles
I said,
is my favorite, I got to say, because the guy showed up every game.
He's never been injured that much.
He did take the team to the playoffs. He has some skill. That was just I think it was a toxic situation for him over there.
Definitely.
It was never going to get better for him. But I think with a good team, he's a legit starting quarterback who's now a backup and was starting last year and was in the playoffs the year before that. Right. Everybody else in this group that's available now has pretty much been backups or not been a really great quarterback. Bortles has flashes of greatness. And I think with a new situation, he could be the guy. I think they should be after him. I don't think Rams would fight too hard. You're going to have to offer something because they always want a good backup, and they got him.
Yeah.
They're not going to give him away. But I think he would be the target as far as I'm concerned for the Colts. Bring in an established starter who can come in, control the team right away. He's not intimidated because he's been a backup his whole career. This guy has started a lot of football games, took his team deep in the playoffs. I think he's the one to go after as far as I'm concerned.
He's my favorite too. I mean, he's got the big arm, and to go with a good set of receivers and tight ends in Indianapolis, and now it looks like, based off last year, a pretty good offensive line. I believe he is your most talented quarterback for sure. And really, his only hallmark was that he threw too many interceptions. So if you're going to limit that, he has the best arm. I think he can run around too if he had to, but I think
they built one of the best offensive lines for Luck.
That's what I mean.
The last couple years, so that's different than it was where he was playing Jacksonville. Their offensive line was brutal.
So he's big. He can stay in the pocket. He can gun it, and with a better offensive line, he'll hopefully make less mistakes, and with also better receivers as far as I'm concerned too. So Blake Bortles is probably my favorite too out in the Rams there. And also the one that hasn't been injured that often. Tyrod Taylor would be my second pick. But I'll make sure to see what route they go. I think at most you can only give Jacoby 4 games, and you'll have to see what he's at. Now I think you're gonna beat some bad teams anyway. Even if he just throws out like maybe 21 points, you might be able to squeak by a game or two. But I think at most, I mean, in football we know this. You got to cut the cord fast, and if he can't do something early, you got to go make a decision. I would even go get someone like Bortles, who's going to take weeks to get used to the offense anyways. We'll give Jacoby a couple games anyway before he can play Bortles or one of these backups off these other teams. So I'd be seeing them making a move, though. I think you're going to be just sacrificing a good team here if you don't get a quarterback. If Jacoby Brissett proves not to be the guy, which you don't believe he is.
Well, he's not the guy. You got to go out and get somebody. And for you and I, it's Bortles, Tyrod Taylor, number 2. They're both playing backups now. They're both starting quarterbacks. These are the kind of guys you want to pick up. So there we are in the first quarter. Colts have to go find a new quarterback, or this is going to be a really sad season. And that would build on top of the retirement, which the fans obviously not happy about.
But second quarter here, let's get
in the division.
It's going to be a little bit shorter because we are pretty much sold on this now.
Let's talk about Vegas. 6-1 to 50-1 to win.
I mean, that's no surprise then.
They've told us all we need to know about where this team's going to finish.
But that doesn't take a brain to figure that out. Obviously, the quarterback on the best team went down. But basically what this opens it up now is the Houston Texans. I mean, this is your division now, guys, going forward. You have the best quarterback. You have a great defensive line. You have the best receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. J.J. Watt. I mean, the list goes on of your star players. You got to get this done.
Yeah, without a doubt, that's the team now. It's an easy division now. Really easy for them to win. I think there's no doubt it'll be them, and we don't really have to go deep into it. I think they're just going to sweep through the division. The Colts are out unless they get a good replacement.
There's 2 question marks in Nick Foles in Jacksonville, Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee. If Mariota goes down, Tennessee has actually been a decent team, a playoff team before, and last year was 1 game out. So question marks, but as far as winning division, I think we're both sold on Houston, unless something dramatic happens, one of those 2 teams. But logic will tell us, Houston, man, it's your division. It's your time to now rule this division and go on and make the playoffs much easier to make a deep run at some point. So that is quarter 2. Very simple, clear cut for us.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go on to quarter 3. It was disgusting how they handled the retirement. The fans booed him off the field for the final time. It's not a guy who's retiring just for the sake of retiring. This guy has given, as far as I'm concerned, has given his all. And he just, unfortunately, does not get a body that works with his desire to play football. And we feel disgusted by the way the fans treated him.
Well, for sure. I mean, you should be cheering this guy. He came in. He gave you exciting years. It's unfortunately been injury-riddled. Not his fault. And the fact that he has to hang it up. You know what? We see a lot of football players who can't have a good quality of life after they play the game. Most of that's because they hang on way past when they should. I think smart on his part for his family and everybody else to get out of the game now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's his biggest desire is he's looking at afterlife. But this isn't a guy with 1 injury. It's not a guy with 2 injuries. It's a guy with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 injuries, guys. He's been banged up so much, through so much surgery.
Yeah.
And he's tried to come back every time for this fan base. And even last year gave you a glimmer of hope by getting you in the playoffs. He took you to 2 AFC Championship games and only lost to Tom Brady. I thought it was very uncalled for. I thought it was very disgusting how they handled it. and I wish the fans would be better. At the end of the day, you're the one who threw Peyton Manning out in free agency after one injury, and this guy gave you a bunch of years through a ton of injuries, tried his best, and now it's time for you guys to move on, find your next predecessor.
Yeah,
and move on. But that was disgusting the way the fans handled it, as far as I'm concerned. It's just not a guy that I felt like quit after one injury. This is a guy who's been in for 3 years, 4 years, and really, really, I have to believe, tried to come back.
Yeah.
And so that's the situation. And truly, even though I know he's going to get the $24 million, you're not going to make him pay it back, but he is still giving up a ton of money by retiring. I'd be more disgusted if he hang on for more years to come. But anyways, that's the third quarter.
I think the Colts management maybe got it all wrong. They thought by announcing it that they might get great applause for him, which is what they should have got. And unfortunately, it turned bad and it became ugly, which is too bad because most teams would have waited. If this was the regular season, they would have waited for a press conference to announce it, right? I think they tried because he wasn't going to play in the regular season to try and get something. They were wrong in their decision by announcing it during the game. Really unfortunate for Andrew Luck. I felt bad. I saw him in the press conference later. It hurt him. He felt it, and it was too bad. Not a great way for a guy who had the potential he did, had the skills that he did. Like you say, 2 AFC championship games. Not a way for him to go out. I was really sad about that. But it's done. They're never going to be able to recover from it because he won't be there the next time for the fans to change the way they felt, right? So it's going to be what it is, and he's on his way out. We wish him well. That's the one thing. Boy, we hate to see these football players because they are banged up every season. You want them to have a good life, and you don't want them to have something that lingers for their whole life either.
The only thing I'll give Andrew Luck is I think his head's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it was many concussions. It was obviously shoulders, arms, legs, everything else. But, keep that brain healthy. He went to Stanford, so...
Yeah. And that's one good thing. He probably, not only does he have the money to do nothing the rest of his life, he's also probably going to have some kind of good career in business or whatever it may be. So
this kind of lingering into quarter four. Yeah. Let's talk about quarter four. It is Andrew Luck retirement. We're very saddened by this. Obviously, as we just talked about, we try to relate more to the fans and how they reacted, which was disgusting. But we did just talk about, what a great guy. There's this mic'd up clip. By the way, go watch on NFL.com about him complimenting guys hitting him.
Yeah.
It's very hilarious. He'd get hit, be like, "Oh, that's a good one, bro. Keep it going," and pat him on the butt. Seemed like generally a great guy.
I love the game.
Smart human being. Loved the game. Gave it his all. Sad to see go. The press conference was obviously very sad. Shockingly, it was actually supposed to happen on Sunday. He actually was the one who pushed it to Saturday. I think he got caught up in the fact that he had made his decision and just did it. But, his legacy, does he have one?
Well, he doesn't have one. I mean, it's 6 years. This is not what legacies are built on. It's unfortunate for him. He did not win a Super Bowl. So he's not going to have that kind of legacy. He'll fade away and really be a non-conversation long term. You couldn't compare him to Peyton Manning, who spent all those years in what was Baltimore, now Indianapolis.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking that far.
But he won't have a legacy. This will never be even a blip on the screen when it comes to football, which is too bad because he had the skills, but it's the game. I will say one thing. I watched the highlights. So they did a highlight package of all his injuries. Here's what quarterbacks have got to learn how to do. It's what Tom Brady's great at. You have to stay in the pocket. The game was built for the pocket. It's still built for the pocket. You get good offensive lines to protect you, and then you get rid of the ball. Every injury he suffered was leaving the pocket and trying to run. Quarterbacks, just learn from Tom Brady. And even Tom Brady's frustrated. I saw an interview with him where he says, they call me for advice and then they don't follow my advice. Drives him insane. You stay in the pocket, you get rid of the ball. Period. It's a simple equation to stay healthy. And Andrew Luck's injuries all happen on the run. Almost every quarterback's really bad injuries happen when they're trying to escape the pocket. Get in the pocket, make a throw. If you don't have anybody open, throw it away. It's a no-brainer of a guy who's won 6 Super Bowls. You follow his example.
It's easy to say that, college football really ruined NFL quarterbacks from the sense that people thought you had to adapt college in order to make his QB successful, but it's only made them get injuries. All these running quarterbacks get injuries. They're not smart enough. Stay in the pocket, throw the ball, or at least Russell Wilson, at least throws it or takes sacks properly, I guess. But Andrew Luck is all running out of the pocket. For a guy who can throw it, by the way, a guy who's tall enough to throw it, a guy who could stay in the pocket, it's become something that people love to watch on highlight reels, and that's part of the problem. But really, it's not a way to succeed, and that is why he's injured. You're right. But as far as his legacy, for me, The only list he'll make is what could have been type of guys.
Yeah,
that's the only list he'll ever make for me, and it is sad to see him go. Like I said, I hope he has a great life going forward. Quarter 4, man. Andrew Luck retiring. A big shock before the regular season gets started. And, we'll see how this plays out. As the season comes, only 10 days away.
Yeah, that's for sure. And unfortunately, I won't include him, but that's the way the game is. And the way lots of games are. Guys have to retire early because of injury. Too bad, but it is the way this season will go forward.
No, I'm just going to put a photo over.